Hey guys, today I am super excited to walk through TikTok Shop GMV Max playbook. As of July 15th, 2025, everything on TikTok Shop ads is moving to GMV Max. So understanding this is incredibly important. And today I have on Matteo, who is our head of media buying at Social Commerce Club, our agency, to walk through what this means, to walk through some of the nuances of what you can still do on GMV Max and how you can actually leverage GMV Max. Even though it is a little bit of a black box, we're going to talk about some of the levers that you actually have to pull within that black box. And Matteo is going to dive into some of those a little bit bigger. So, and a little bit deeper. So really, really excited for that. Thanks again, everyone, so much for joining. And please let me know any questions that you have on the side. Super, super excited for this. Matteo, first of all, walk me through what GMV Max is comparatively and what exactly our strategy on GMV Max is.
Okay, GMV Max is a new type of campaign. I mean, I still say it's new, but now it's been around for probably 1 year, more or less 1 year. It's a target ROAS campaign. So it's a campaign that is using cost controls on TikTok. So the two biggest levers that we can use are our ROAS target and our daily budget. It's also a campaign that leverages affiliate content. So that's more or less all the ads that we can use. We can still use brand ads, but we'll always need to post them through our TikTok account or through our brand page. And the big difference or the big innovation is that it's very automated. Like, as a media buyer, there's not a lot that I need to do to manage, or I don't need to set up targeting or all these little things. It's pretty much TikTok doing its thing. So the only settings that I'm using are just the daily budget and the target return. Now, the most important thing is that I always like to explain is because it's a cost control campaign, and this is the same thing as any other platform like Meta. But because we're using cost control, is what is happening is we are switching the variables. So usually when we run ads, we have a fixed input, which is how much we want to spend. If I set up a $100 a day budget, not usually, I'm going to spend $100. But then we have a variable output, which is how many sales, what is my cost per purchase going to be. So it's possible that one day I have 10 sales, the next day I have 5, and the next day I have 15. So that is variable. When we use cost controls, again, we're switching these variables. So I'm going to have a fixed output, which is in this case, it's my target return. And I have a variable input, which is my daily spend. So what happens with GMV Max is, on average, your ROAS should be very stable. And again, or should be what your target is. But what is going to be variable is your spend. So it's very possible that if you set up a $500 a day budget, it's possible that you spend the full budget. But at the same time, if TikTok, for whatever reason, thinks that today is not possible to achieve that target return, is not going to spend the full budget. It's also possible, we have some cases where it doesn't spend money at all. Usually that means that your target return or your target bid is a little bit too high. So you need to lower that return.
So I'm just going to get in asking a bunch of questions that I think will be super, super important for people here, right? So number one, the biggest thing is that GMV Max is mandatory for basically all accounts as far as everyone here is concerned as of today. So what this does is it takes away a lot of the levers that we were. Think about this very similar to a Performance Max or an Advantage Plus. This is TikTok's full AI suite all in one with GMV Max. Before, we like to stay away from it because we didn't have the same sort of levers. Now it's just mandatory for everyone, right? So I think one of the big things, and I've got some of this in my slides, but because I have Matteo here, it's nice that we can sort of bounce some of the stuff back and forth. And I think that's the really cool thing here. Is that one of the big issues is in the cold start, right? And cold start is so ridiculously difficult during that time. And so we actually leaned on video shopping ads and product shopping ads previous to this during cold start. Now, if you guys haven't, I've been talking a lot about the TikTok Shop Blitz strategy. And I think that the Blitz strategy really allows us to get out of cold start really, really fast. So if you haven't, go check some of that out either on LinkedIn. If you go check out my YouTube channel, I've got a lot of these videos up there that's explaining and walking through some of the stuff. So Also go check out the Blitz strategy there. But Matteo, let's walk through what someone would do during cold start, right, with GMV Max, because I think that that's the problem, right? So first of all, like how many creatives do they have to have? Like walk me through the different levers that we actually have to pull in GMV Max.
Yeah. So yeah, there's a lot of things that we can discuss here. I think just to give context on what you were saying is overall, I really like GMV Max, and I think again that's usually the end goal for every brand. We usually see the best performance when we move to GMV Max, and at scale, all of our accounts are GMV Max only. The only problem that we saw is a lot of brands are starting from zero. Maybe they just open up their shop, or again they don't have any affiliate content, or as I said, they're just at step zero. Usually when we launch GMV Max at that point, it's really hard simply because the campaign doesn't spend money. We can set the target return as low as possible, 1.8, 0.5. Usually the campaign doesn't spend simply because there's no social proof. There are not like a lot of data. You don't have any units sold on your listing. You don't have reviews. So everything is very cold, and it's not that easy to get traction unless again you hit jackpot and you have one video going viral. But it's possible, but that also not very easy. So now, because it's mandatory, that's definitely one point that it will be very interesting to see. And I also believe that our Blitz strategy is probably one of the best solution because instead of just following the idea of, yeah, I'm going to send out some samples, they make content and everything will be fine. You need a lot of volume for that to happen. So the fact that we are concentrating everything at one specific point and we say, okay, let's just get as many influencers or as many creators as possible. They're all going to post, multiple videos at a precise moment in time. That really creates a lot of demand, at least, or a lot of volume. So usually that's a good way to. Again, I'm not going to say it's going to be perfect, and from there on, it's amazing. But that's usually a good way to go from 0 to 1 and get the campaign to at least spend some money and see some traction. Because otherwise, what we've seen is it doesn't spend. It's also a little bit frustrating because nothing happens. Unless again you really have a high volume of content. Now, to answer your question on how many videos do we need at the beginning, I mean, this is more on the strategy, but usually it's always better to focus on one product, don't separate all the efforts. But I would say minimum like 10 to 20 a week. That's usually like again bare minimum level. There's also like a something that we noticed with TikTok.
So is this 10 to 20 creators a week or 10 to 20 videos that creators are making a week? And does that include your brand handle as well?
No,
is this just pieces of content that you're talking about, Matteo?
These are just pieces of content. They can all come from one creator. I also think it's better if you have some variety. I prefer to have maybe 20 creators posting one video than just one creator posting 20 videos. This is my philosophy. But if you can do more, do more. What I want to say is, with TikTok, what we notice is, especially at the beginning, it's more of a quantity game rather than quality. Quality is very important, but you need volume.
Totally. So I want to step in here, Matteo, just for 1 second here, just to like talk about like essentially like an AI principle, right? Like the way that I like to think about this with any of these AI systems, if we're thinking about Advantage Plus, if we're thinking about PMax, like any of these sorts of systems, and then we just think about like the way that we interact with ChatGPT, the more context, right, and the more information that you can give, the better that you are going to get, right? So if we think about that with GMV Max, the levers that we have to pull are actually on the amount of creative, right, and the amount of things that it can actually test. And so it's really interesting what we're going to get to at the end, right? And Matteo, I don't want you to give it away yet, is like the way that we structure these campaigns with products, because I think that even speaks even more to it, right? Is like the more optionality and the more creative and the more things that you have to give the AI, the better it is going to be in the end, right? And I think that that's a really interesting concept and something for us to constantly keep in mind with this is like, if we're only giving it 5 videos, right? That's only 5 that it has to go out and try and find these target demographics. It's just not going to work, right? Like, I think that's it at the end of the day. So sorry, you keep going.
No, and again, the main thing is, because right now we're also focusing on the first step, like from 0 to 1. You don't know what's going to work. Like you don't have any data. So it would always be about volume and really finding something that works. What we notice is as soon as we see what kind of videos are performing better, then it's just about the feedback loop. Then we go back to creators and we say, hey guys, this is working, do more of that. And of course, because we're paying them on performance, it's in their best interest to actually do that. And the other interesting part is, as soon as we find what is working and we give that feedback loop, um, actually, let me say one of the main issue with GMV Max and why it's hard to, the 0 to 1 step is a little bit hard, is because if the creator posts content, but again, we don't have that big push and like that, we concentrate that at one precise point in time, is if they keep posting content and nothing is happening, like the campaign is not spending, we're not really generating a lot of sales, they lose like a lot of motivation. Like one of the most important parts of TikTok Shop is the creators. Like they are actually going to make the content. Yes, we can post content on our page, but 90%, let's just say 75% plus of your GMV will probably come from affiliate content. So
Yeah.
if
Now,
creators are motivated,
just let me give a nuance in there though, Matteo. So right now, TikTok is pushing brand handle content. So just so you know, that's part of their big, like one of their algorithmic pushes right now. So yes, affiliates are still like the most important thing, but just know that right now they're trying to get people to post as much as possible on their brand handles as well. And that also gets pulled into GMV Max, just so you guys know. Yeah. Sorry, Matteo.
Possible to get content there, but again, focusing on the 0 to 1 step. If they lose motivation, it's not very easy to get them to post even more. And again, usually it's not that's not how you build the ecosystem. So by really doing like a big push, hopefully you get that initial traction. And as soon as they see that, okay, it's possible to make money with this product, and you have your own network, they will be a lot more motivated in keep posting content. And you don't even need to tell them, hey, can you please post? It's like, again, it's in their best interest to make 5-10 videos a day. And that's how we
totally. They'll just keep posting and posting, right? Yeah. Which I think is why the Blitz strategy works so well. Guys, just by the way, I'm seeing a ton of questions come in. Matteo and I are going to get to these questions. Matteo, how long do you have, by the way? I didn't even ask you. You do? Okay, perfect. Great. Because there's a lot of really good questions coming in here. So I'm very excited to get to these. What I want to talk about, and the reason why I love the Blitz strategy, and I think that the Blitz strategy might answer some of these questions. So this is like our secret sauce at Social Commerce Club is this Blitz strategy. I probably shouldn't tell everyone about it, but this is really what is able to get that traction right out of the gate. And so the idea is that we're actually we send out samples and we tell them, do not post yet, right? Hold off your posting until the Blitz date. And so we set a date in the future. So let's just say, today's July 15th. Let's say that we're setting it for July 22nd, right? All right. On July 22nd, everyone's going to be posting at the same time. And we're committing between $10,000 and $20,000 of ad spend. Again, you can pare that down. I know last time I did an event, I had a couple of like 1 stars because they said, you kept saying $50,000 and we don't have that kind of money to spend. Just pare it down. Just whatever your budget can take. So if you can spend between $10,000 and $20,000 on that launch time on ads, awesome. But the idea is that actually you're going to motivate them, right? And get the positive feedback loop going. I think one of the reasons why a lot of brands struggle on TikTok Shop that came from both D2C and Amazon is that before, you were rewarded for being a good media buyer, right? And you were rewarded for understanding search terms and all of that. This is like TikTok Shop is like nothing I've ever seen before because you really have to actually care about motivations of humans, right? That is the difference in this, is like what we're trying to do is help motivate our creators to like post as much as possible because they win and we win. But it's hard if you don't get the motivation right out the gate, which is why the Blitz strategy works so ridiculously well. So I just wanted to throw that in there too, Matteo.
No, absolutely. And again, now the fact that it's becoming mandatory, I truly believe that is going to be one of the only options. Again, there's always the option where you hit the jackpot, something goes viral, but we've seen that that's really not it's less than 1%. It's very
totally. And you cannot count on virality, right? Like I love to figure out like, okay, what are the things that I can control versus things that are not in my control, right? Virality is not in your control. But with the Blitz strategy, you can actually show up like you're everywhere in that one space and time, which will then again create the positive feedback loop, which will then get people posting more. And then you start dropping more products. Like that's the loop that we're looking for, right? We're constantly trying to find what these feedback loops are, because that also is what the AI is looking for at the exact same time. It's looking for that feedback loop at the exact same time. So much so that there's a brand that we've been working with for a little while that we weren't able to get traction. We did not do a blitz with. We're actually recreating a new shop and doing a blitz strategy with them because we really believe that we want to relaunch and get that sort of positive traction. That's how much that we believe in this these days, is that. So
No, absolutely. And I think the fun fact about the Blitz strategy is that we recently like come up with the Blitz name and like the Blitz concept. And it's actually funny because we discovered by not mistake, but it was not something that it was intentional. It's like we did that and then we did that another time and we did that another time. And every time it was working. I was like, maybe we should do this with all the brands.
every single time we were getting these massive sales, and it was totally by accident that we came.
The first time that we did it, it was August of last year. So it's been a while.
Totally. And yes, that's right. Like we sort of like back propagated, like, what were we doing on these accounts? Because just so everyone knows, TikTok Shop is not easy. It like we struggle, right? And we're like one of the big guys in the space right now, right? And so we're trying to see like, how can we make this a even more of a home run every single time, right? And this is where we came to this. Matteo, I've got tons of questions here, so I'm going to get to a few of these questions because I think these are super interesting. And I just want to make sure, just to tease, that we are going to talk about like these specific ways that you can set these GMV Max campaigns up. There's one way specifically that Matteo shared with me last week that I was shocked by. And so I am going to share that a little bit later. So I just want to make sure that we remember that as well. So Dave asks, are followers, likes, and views in the paired account part of the signal, or is it all self-contained in TikTok Shop product views and reviews? So as far as I know, there is no correlation whatsoever between your account and your paired account, your paired TikTok profile, and your TikTok Shop. There's no overlap as far as we know. Now, reviews is really important to get on your shop and to get on your actual listings, right? Which again, you can use any of the big review sites out there, have an integration over into TikTok Shop. So Judge Me is a good cheap one that I like to talk about, that you can just like pull that. You can also like pull them off Amazon into Judge Me and then over into TikTok Shop. So that's one thing there. Matteo, any thoughts on that?
Yeah, maybe the only thing that, because I think a lot of time we forget about this, but TikTok Shop is a marketplace. So also content is super important. The listing is also important. So make sure that you have a nice listing, the optimized for keywords, the images are, think about it almost like an Amazon. Your Amazon listing should be perfect. TikTok Shop should be the same, like really good images, really good headlines. The offer should be good. If you're selling multiple products, make sure that whether it's a size or flavor variant, like make sure that it looks good. Price wise, make sure that you have a competitive offer. Again, it has to be good. Like we had multiple clients where we saw that everything looks good, but then we have a conversion rate problem. So that's also something that we should always look into. A lot of times, not a lot of people speak about that, but it's quite important.
Absolutely. I mean, so incredibly important on this product page, right? And then also the other thing to look for too, and like, I don't know how long this is going to last for. I'm actually building a software tool sort of around this right now, is this idea of the halo onto your other channels, right? So looking and seeing if you have a really low conversion rate on TikTok Shop itself, go and look and see if you're starting to get some of these spikes over onto Amazon specifically. A lot of people don't trust TikTok Shop still. And so they'll go to that listing and then they'll go right over because they can prime it on Amazon. So that's something else just to look out for. And something that we're trying to get some measurement around, this sort of like halo effect. So, okay, awesome. Great question. And I've got a million questions here, which is awesome. This is like my favorite thing to do. So when is the ideal time to run GMV Max after cold start? After we have some winning organic creatives? Matteo, I'll let you take that first and then I'll give any color.
I'll give you two answers. So before, what we were doing is we were starting with normal ads, like DSA, video shopping ads. I'm trying to get some traction there. Usually the performance is not amazing if you're starting from zero. When I say not amazing, is probably close to 1 ROAS. That's usually our sweet spot where we can spend money. We're still losing, but at least we get some learnings. And as soon as we have that, then it's just a matter of optimization and testing a little bit more. But as soon as we see some traction, then it's probably a good time to move to GMV Max. Now it's different because now GMV Max is I want to be precise here for pretty much all the accounts by July 15th, so by today. There are some accounts that the deadline is August 8th, and then some of the bigger accounts, the deadline is September 1st. So if you're lucky, you still have a little bit of time, but otherwise, by today, you need to start with GMV Max. So when is the ideal time to run GMV Max? Right now. Like that's the only thing that
Like
you can do.
yeah, from day one, once you have those, like I would say 20 creatives, I'll just throw that number out there. Like once you have 20 pieces of creative that are in your account that are able to be pulled by GMV Max. So actually, can you talk through that really quickly, Matteo? Of this is so nice that I don't have to talk for an hour and I can ask you questions.
So
Guys, just I love talking, but I like asking Matteo because he's smarter than me in this area. So, walk me through exactly how GMV Max works when pulling creatives. Like, there's a couple of different levers in there too.
so yeah, this is the big one. I just want to make sure that I also answer that. So there are two things here. You should start right now with GMV Max because that's the only thing that you can do. Now,
Yeah.
should you just turn it on today? It depends. Do you have content? Yes. How much content do you have? If it's good amount, probably 20 creatives or more, you can launch it. Or again, you can try to do what we're doing, kind of the Blitz strategy. So you probably even get a bit more than 20. Let's say again, that's bare minimum. Usually bare minimum is not great or it's not good. You either try to collect a lot of content and you just say, hey guys, only one day at the same time we post that. Now, how do you collect the content? The two biggest ways are affiliate content and then brand content. For affiliate content, you send out samples, you work with affiliates, you can find a network. Somehow you get your products in the hand of creators. They make a video, they tag your product, and that's it. If the creators have mass authorization on, that's the little settings that they can turn on in their profile settings. The videos, all the videos that they post tagging your products automatically goes into your GMV Max campaign. So that's why it's also very hands-off for the media buying side because it's very automated. There are also some creators that they don't have mass authorization on. In that case, you need to manually request the Spark code. In our case, we do it through our outreach software. So you just send a message, thank you for posting the video, please share the Spark code, and then you just copy and paste the Spark code, and you add it into the creative library, you authorize it, so you will get into the campaign.
And for anyone wondering, I don't know who else has this, but we use Reacher. So I'm a big Reacher fan, been advising them for quite a while. So that's one of the great features that they built for us recently was like, we just need to get these Spark codes, right? So it's just like this really quick automatic thing. You don't even have to think about it. It's just asking for those. Matteo, do you know if it asks if they do or don't have math authorization? Does it just ask everyone?
It depends. Like you can create different segments. There are different options. You can reach out to everyone. You can reach out only to open collaborations.
Yeah.
That depends how you want to set it up.
Yeah.
But most creators, they do have mass authorization because it's very useful. There's some that, again, for whatever reason, they don't want to use it, but we just manually request the Spark, and then you just manually add it. So these are the two ways on how you can get affiliate content. The other thing that you can do is still leverage your own brand content. So a lot of our clients, maybe they're spending a lot of money on Meta, or they just have a lot of B-roll, they have a lot of content. So whether it's through our internal video editing team or somehow we make some ads that, again, they're not creator ads, they're just our ads. What you can do is you can post them on your TikTok account. Now, there are also two ways here. You can either just, as I said, post them into your TikTok account as a normal post. You need to tag the product. Of course, you always need to tag the shop product. And if you do that, it will automatically go into the GMV Max campaign. There's also another way, which is kind of similar, but some of our clients, they really care about their feed, like their TikTok feed. So if you don't want to touch and you don't want to ruin your TikTok feed and post 50 ads there, you can also post them as I think they're called dark posts, or there's like a setting that it says ads only. So you still post them on your TikTok page or TikTok account, but it's just not visible in the feed. If you do that, that will also they will, always tag the product, of course, but they will also get picked up by the GMV Max campaign. That's another way to get brand content, but it's, as I said, it's either affiliate content or brand content. The interesting part is we don't need to manually launch any ad. Like the era of uploading the video, writing the caption, tagging the product, that's not needed. So
totally.
Launch an
I mean,
ad, lead somewhere.
Matteo and I have talked about this in the world of like media buying. The role of the media buyer just gets so different. We've seen this evolution over time, right? And like Matteo again being, head of media buying at Social Commerce Club, like we are seeing the evolution everywhere. I mean, I think within a year, every single platform is going to be like most of these kinds of campaigns.
Yeah.
And so the role of the media buyer is going to change substantially.
Yeah.
This is a really interesting question here, Matteo. So also, this is from Dave again. Also, can we assume each piece of content should go through the standard organic paid cycle before it proves itself, provided that it proves itself inorganic? I'm going to give my take on this first, Matteo, and then I'll get yours after. So, Dave, my take on this is actually there are times when the TikTok algo may not pick up creative. And so because of the way that this works, just continue with GMV Max. You don't really have to care. You just continue to spend on GMV Max. You're not necessarily picking each of them. You should just be getting as many Spark codes as you can, right? Because the more data and the more optionality that you give the robot, the better that it's going to be able to target specific people. There was actually a really interesting tweet. I forget who it was that I was reading from last night. I think it was Barry, Ugly Adsberry. And he was talking about, it was this like response to another tweet. And he was talking about how the platforms are getting so good at one-on-one content that especially like if you guys have been running Advantage Plus campaigns at all, it is phenomenal to see the one-to-one type of content that comes out of Flex ads. And sorry, we're talking Facebook here for a sec. Flex ads in an Advantage Plus campaign. If you guys have ever done the math on the amount of different potential variations that will personalize to somebody, it is wild. It is absolutely wild. So when you think about this in the same way, just because you think an ad sucks or you think a post sucks, doesn't matter. Just put the Spark code in. Just continue to put the Spark code in because it is going to give more optionality to the robot to go out and find that person that doesn't think that piece of content sucks. Just because you have taste doesn't mean other people do, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Matteo, thoughts?
Fully agree. I mean, the main thing here is volume. So actually, there are two things. So the first one is, as I said, it's volume of content. The more content you have, usually the better performance you should expect. Or it's not about performance because usually you are able to meet your target return. It's about volume. Maybe you can get a 2x
totally. You will always meet your target return, basically.
Exactly. I can get a 2x ROAS and spend $200. What about getting a 2x ROAS and spending $2,000? How do you get that?
Totally.
It's volume, like volume of content. Then the interesting part is most of the time the ad that also do very well organically will also get more spend. So what we see is that we just throw everything in there, and then we saw that if something goes viral, or again it does a little bit better organically, like through organic, it also gets picked up by the GMV Max campaign and usually it spends more money. So you don't need to. Usually we try to be as objective as possible. Because on the other hand, what I can guarantee you is there are some ads that when I see them, it's like, how is this even make money? I really don't like it. I think it's ugly. It's working. So I think.
Well, you Europeans have such incredible taste, Matteo. So I understand, right?
Also because Facebook, like TikTok, they're not ads. They're organic. Like this is the point. Sometimes what sells is not an ad. Maybe there's not even a
totally
call to action in the video. It's just a video. Someone picks up the phone and it's not even showing their face. They're just saying something and $100,000 of sales. To me, that video is like very basic. It doesn't look amazing, but something there is working. So definitely try to be as objective as possible. And on our end, we want to give everything we want to make sure that everything. And this is the other important point is, and I think it's kind of the same in Meta and any other platform. Like the rule now is you need to let the creatives or the ads compete against each other. We want to give everything the same opportunity. So we want to say, okay, you are in the campaign. If you get spent or not, it's up to you. So sometimes, and I'll also give you, this is an interesting nugget, but if you work with a lot of creators, some creators, they don't really like GMV Max because it's up to the platform to decide spend. Some creators like when you kind of force spend on their platform, but one of the main things that we're saying is if for whatever reason a video is not getting spent, simply because it's not good. Again, there are other videos that are better than that one. So the only thing is always the feedback loop. So make sure that the top, you always, especially to the creators, say, hey, these are our current top performing videos. It's just, sometimes it's just as simple as just copy them or do the same thing and, add your own touch. But if something is not getting spent, it's simply because it's either there's something that is doing better, or your target ROAS is just too high, and that video is not. It's just
Well,
not easy to achieve that target return.
it's the same as people in Facebook ads, right? When they're like, well, I have to have a separate testing campaign. It's like,
Yeah,
why? Well, because it doesn't get spend when it goes into my Advantage Plus campaign or into my CBO campaign. It's like, that's because your ad sucks. It's
yeah.
not winning. Facebook's not giving it spend because it doesn't think it's going to get you the objective that it wants to get. It is your Facebook is your business partner. TikTok is your business partner at the end of the day, right? It's not an adversarial relationship. It is a business partnership that you're trying to do here. And so like that principle, I think is really, really
Exactly.
important. Now, here's another question. Sorry, I know, guys, holy cow, there's a bunch of questions. This is so good. We are going to have to stick this to an hour, just so you guys know. Matteo, here's my question. Is there a time where you turn off an ad? Like, is that something that you're doing when you're going into these? And if so, follow up. I'm just assuming yes. Follow up is why, and what metrics would you actually be looking at if this principle kind of holds true?
This is also a really good question. So the concept of turning off ads doesn't exist with GMV Max. So usually when you want to turn off an ad, you need to exclude it from the campaign. So what you're telling TikTok is don't spend money here. Just remove this ad from the campaign. So it's not that you're turning it off. Now, the answer is usually no. I don't want to exclude any ad. Again, usually it's pretty efficient. There are only a few times where you want to exclude an ad, or again, let's just say turn it off. And that's usually when the content is, there's something wrong with the content. Either the creators is saying something that is, I don't know, it's not in line with the brand, or it can happen that there's some sale, for example, if you run, and I know TikTok is working on this, but it's possible that someone made a video in November saying, hey, Black Friday deal, 60% off. And that video is still live today, or it's still like floating around the GMV Max campaign. I don't want ads saying Black Friday 60% off live right now. You know, usually if you notice something like that, probably not turn it off, but exclude it. Or it's also possible, we've seen it with a couple of clients where some creators make false claims about sales. If you don't have a sale and someone makes usually it's not, how can I say, direct creators, but especially open collaborations. It's possible that some people make a video saying, hey, 50% off, buy now, and there's not a 50% off sale. So usually we keep an eye on that, and it's also easy because if you notice something like that, you can just exclude the creator from participating in collaborations. That's usually the only, and again, when that happens it's not because the ad is not doing well, it's a content problem. That's not something that we want to have in our campaign. Yeah. Besides that, when you look at the metrics, this is the most interesting and frustrating part about GMV Max is when you look at the campaign, there's not like a campaign. I think we're all familiar with campaign, ad set, or ad group, and ad level. That's usually the structure that we see in
totally. Yeah. Like every ad platform has that.
GMV Max is a little bit different. So we have our campaign, and we can see the metrics at the campaign level. We can see spend, we can see impression, we can see. Actually, I don't think we can see. We can see different metrics. If we want to go deeper, then we have the product level. Okay, so there's no ad set, there's campaign and then product. So as soon as we try to look deeper, we can see how much we spent on different products, or again, more or less what are the metrics. And then inside the product, there are all the videos for that specific product. Now, the interesting part is that at the ad level, which is again, the ad is like all the videos, we cannot see how much we spent on each single video, which is a problem. I mean, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. But usually we like to see we spent one, we made two. That's not something that we can see at the video level. We can see
per video level, but you can see at the product level.
The problem is if we see how much let's just say we have, I don't know, 300 video live inside one product. We can see how many impressions they generated. We can see different metrics, but we cannot see, at least in the seller center, sorry, in the GMV Max section, we cannot see exactly how much money each video got. So that's the only thing that it's a little bit annoying. That's a feature of.
Yeah, that's super interesting, and I'm sure that there is a reason that TikTok is doing that. I think that what these AI platforms at the end of the day are saying to us is stop touching it, right? Yeah. We've got this. This is what robots are really good at, is all of this and being able to put the right ad in front of the right person at the right time to get them to purchase, and that you are not as good at that as the robot is. I just want to address a couple more questions here. James, sorry, I tried to type this out before. My assistant has a couple messages into you, and she just misspelt your name. Just for everyone wondering, and that was potentially a part of the accelerator that I was going to be launching tomorrow. We're actually moving that date out a little bit. So you will get an email if any of you guys are potentially on the accelerator. You will get an email either with the option for a refund or just holding on until the next spot. And we just had to push it out a little bit because of the summer. So sorry about that, guys. Just wanted to sort of let any of you guys know that we're a part of that. There's just some scheduling issues with people that I want to bring onto the accelerator, et cetera, just because of the summer out here. So just so you guys know, for anyone doing that, so just look out for an email from Kai, who is my assistant, or from my email, and she'll be sending it out through that. So just wanted to just quickly address that. Thanks so much, guys. I have a very interesting question because I want to get into this. This might be one of the most interesting things that Matteo and I have talked about when it comes to this. So I'm just going to put this here from Zaid. So if I have two products, like an ankle or a crew, I'm assuming sock, would you run one GMV Max campaign or two? I think this is one of the things I really wanted to get into because it's very interesting to see some of the results on here. And just remember, like, we spend a lot of money and have tested this. Matteo.
So this is also a question, probably this is the question that we get the most, or at least every time that I speak with brands, that's usually the big question. What we've seen, and I'll just try to give like the full context. We tried everything. So usually the situation is you either have only one product, and if you have that, it's pretty easy, just one campaign. You can have two products, or again, a few products, like in this case, or we also have clients where they have a lot of products, like hundreds of products. And we tried everything. We tried putting all the products just in one campaign. Again, there's a feature you can just go on, like I think it's advertise all products. You can just put all the products into one. We tried to separate them by category. So I don't know, maybe it's like hair products or body products or face product, like categories. Or we try to divide them by gender, like female products and male products if you have both. We tried everything that you can imagine, or everything that is possible. We try it. We usually see the best performance with all products in one. Now, what does best performance, or again, we also tried best seller in one and all the other kind of bottom products in a separate campaign. We usually see the best performance when we put everything, we call it like all in one. So we put everything in one campaign.
That's crazy. It's just crazy because, again, it's just like, where is the role of media buying in the future, right? Like,
there's only
don't worry, Matteo's going to be okay. He's smart. Yeah, we're looking for 200 a day here, though, which, by the way, is a great, strategically, is just something I highly recommend for everyone out there. Is like, launch your new stuff TikTok Shop only first. You're going to make your creators happy. You're going to make the algorithm happy. You're going to constantly be blitzing out there, right? Like, launch your new stuff on TikTok Shop. It is phenomenal. We used to do this with the brands that we owned. We would do like app only launches first because we wanted everyone to download our app. This right now, because of the virality potential of TikTok, I highly recommend doing your launches on TikTok Shop first. And then also, if the launch flops, great. Don't put it on Amazon. Don't put it on D2C, right? Just keep it there, depending on sort of like where you're trying to have your different traffic mixes. I just wanted to throw that out there too, Matteo. Yeah, even for Super Brand Day is like a full brand takeover, just so you guys know, which is very, very fun to do. Full brand takeover of all of TikTok. Those are a blast because you just get so many tailwinds behind it. So if there's any big brands watching this, just so you know, that is like the ultimate if you can get that out of TikTok. Again, those would be for like big brands. It's the Super Bowl. Yes. And we love playing in the Super Bowl. Okay, I got a couple of other questions. Holy cow, there's so much here. This is crazy. Thanks. It's like basically everyone has stuck around the whole time. Incredible. I've got some interesting questions here that I'm going to kind of bounce back and forth with. This is an interesting one that I'm going to first answer, Matteo. So theoretically, Dave, you got some good stuff here today. So theoretically, could I push hundreds of ads into ad only mode and then let that performance drive reverse into my brand for my brand feed? Yes, that is such a good idea. You could totally do it like that. I personally, if you're not precious about your brand, about your TikTok brand page, I would just be launching every single one of them organically. But if you are a big brand that is worried about your TikTok feed and you don't want to put a lot out there, then don't. The other solution to this, though, is create a separate TikTok account that is just pushing all of these videos. Like if you're going to make 200 videos, you might as well try them out organically, right? Like you do not get penalized the more videos that you post. TikTok does not penalize you that way. It's not Instagram, right? It's not YouTube, right? It wants as much possible content out there as it can get. That is what it lives on. Yeah. Oh yeah, Brock is so good at that stuff, right? He just dedicates a day, it's either like every week or every 2 weeks, just to making so much content. And it works. And it's not like great content. It's fine content. It goes viral like almost all the time. And it's so simple. Like his concepts are so simple. Totally. No. And you need to learn the TikTok muscle, right? That is the problem here, is like the TikTok muscle is a new one that I think a lot of brands still don't understand. And that's okay. The only way that you get to build that muscle is go to the TikTok gym, right? Like that's the way to do it. I got another interesting question here. For a new brand just starting GMV Max, is it more beneficial to allocate a budget and turn on max delivery, or does it make more sense to set a daily spend budget and specify your target ROAS? So you'd rather see people just get more and more content, get as much possible content into that GMV Max, set a lower target ROAS rather than target max delivery. From a fundamentals standpoint, I'm like 100% with you. It makes way more sense to me. It's like on Meta saying, oh, I want add to carts. It's like, sweet, you're going to get add to carts. That's what Meta's going to give you. It finds people that love to add to their cart, but don't finish that purchase. Awesome. A couple more questions here, Matteo. We are going to put this one here. Apologies, where can we put our questions? You're putting them in the right spot, Brian. Sorry if I missed some of your previous questions. TikTok market scope is becoming accessible to certain businesses and it's in testing phase. Wanted to see if your team has heard of it or looked into it yet. Matteo, good question. Do you know anything about market scope? Yeah, Bryant, unfortunately, I just decided to throw this one onto Matteo, but as far as I know, it's not something yet that our team is caring about. As we get a lot of beta sort of stuff thrown our way, it's not something yet that we're caring about in the same sort of way, but I'm sure lots of these tools are incredible that they are developing within ByteDance. Matteo, any thoughts? Yeah. I'm just going to put up this is going to be our last question here. So does GMV Max kill organic reach? And if so, how does the Blitz strategy change if that's the case? That's right. It's much different than like the YouTube algo, right? That lasts a lot longer. Yeah. Love it. Totally. And remember that we are all learning this as we go here. This is a new platform that we're really trying to be at the forefront of. So, before everyone goes, a couple of really important things. I am going to be putting on another accelerator for brands here, and I will let you know the launch date of that once I confirm up the people that are going to be coming on and talking on that. For any agencies out there, I have no dates yet set for an agency accelerator right now, though I know a lot of you guys have been asking about that. A couple other things. If you guys are interested in getting help with TikTok Shop, we have TikTok Shop OS Plus at Social Commerce Club. That is a done with you type of program where we actually walk you through. It's not the full agency service. It's the full agency services for some bigger brands. If you guys are a bigger brand out there and you want help with your TikTok Shop, please feel free to reach out. Matteo, thank you so much. Oh, and also guys, I am going to drop in the link here. This is a link that you should save. This is a specific one for TikTok that gives you a bunch of the goodies that we talked about last time, gives you $500 worth of ad credits when you sign up. So if you have not signed up, this link actually gives you a bunch of that stuff through TikTok. That's a partnership they've done with me on this stuff. And then also I dropped in before, if anyone wants to use Reacher, highly recommend. I've been helping them build on the product side for quite a while. If you guys want to use Reacher, use code JordanWest20, and that gets you 20% off. Love those guys over there. And I feel like a huge part of that team as well. So really big fan of those guys. Matteo, thanks again so much for your time today. I did not think this was actually going to be an hour. We still had questions that we did not answer. Thank you, everyone. And if you guys are watching this on YouTube, just drop your questions down below and I'll try and get to them as soon as I can. So thanks so much, everyone. Bye.